Hey everyone, welcome back to the kitchen where today we are diving deep into the world of real estate. Today's guest is Brendan White with National Property Inspections. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
By the way, I really appreciate this. We're just gonna ask some questions, talk things out, and really get a feel for what you do, the value that it does bring to homeowners and the home buying process.
There's a lot of stuff in a house. You gotta know a lot of things to be able to effectively know your way through every home that you get into, because they're all different. And as many, especially in Northern Virginia, we have houses that are in 1 to 5 years old, have different set of problems than houses that are 60, 70, 80 years old.
Right.
And you have to be able to recognize all of these things.
Yeah. How do you determine, okay, this is how much time it's going to take, this is how much it's going to cost?
We have a network that manages all of our inspections, the Inspector Support Network, and I'll go in and I will enter the address, the buyer's names, their information, and it'll produce a form for them, and it will schedule it for me. It'll put it on my Google Calendar schedule. It will email the buyers because I have their information. It will email you, tell you when it's scheduled at, what needs to be done before the inspection, make sure that all the utilities are on, make sure that the house is going to be accessible, all of that. It'll send all of these emails out for me. And yeah, then everyone will know when we're supposed to be meeting, what time we're supposed to be there. If it's an older house, often I'll suggest that you get a camera scope of the main sewer line, because in older houses, those sometimes have problems, whether it be that they're made of cast iron or that there's trees in the yard and roots can grow down into them. And once a root finds a little hole in a sewer drain pipe, it's nothing but free food, and it just rolls in there.
I saw him do that. It was the coolest thing ever. We did it at that house in Reston.
Yeah.
And I was like, how far is this thing going to go? And he said, what, 100 feet or?
100 feet or until you get to the county main sewer line.
It was the coolest thing
because you're responsible. People don't know that. You're responsible for everything from the county line all the way up to your house. So even though it's not underneath your house, the drain that goes 60 feet out to the street, something happens to it, you're still responsible for it. And those can be expensive repairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just going to take up this part of the road. Don't mind us.
Yeah.
Does age matter? Like if I say to you, hey, this place was built in the late 1800s.
Yes, that matters. That will add a little bit to the fee.
Yeah. Because you have to look at stuff you wouldn't normally.
Yeah, there's a lot more to pay attention to on a 100-year-old house than there is on a 12-year-old house.
Right.
Mostly it's square footage. A regular single-family home like this would probably be around, I think, 600. I'll check the outside, the lot, the outside of the house, the roof, gutters, shingles, decks, any outside buildings you got.
Foundation cracks?
Foundations, yeah.
Like you look for them?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one
Is there
of the
a trick for that, or you just kind of like, oh, there's something?
Well, the trick in that is determining whether or not a little crack in a foundation is something that you need to be worried about, or if it's just a little crack in a foundation. Because concrete cracks, most foundations, new houses anyway, are poured concrete foundations. Concrete dries, it cracks. You just got to make sure it's a crack that's not significant as opposed to a crack that is significant. Right. And if I have any kind of question or concern, because I'm not an expert in every single thing house, I'm an expert in house.
Right.
I can't tell you how exactly you were talking about the leak in your plumbing vent. I wouldn't be able to tell you what you needed to do to fix that. I'd just tell you, this is wrong, this needs to be fixed. Here's the person that you should contact that needs to fix it.
Recommend a licensed plumber
to get that. If there was something really wrong with the foundation, I recommend that a structural engineer come and check it and recommend how the repairs be done. Or he says, I'm crazy and it doesn't need to be repaired, it's fine. Okay. But I'd rather be sure than say, I think this is okay, and it's not.
Right.
I'd much rather have somebody else come and look at it that's a specialist in that area and have them say, no, this is okay, or no, this needs to be changed.
Yeah.
If I saw this patch thing here and I noticed right away, it's patched really well, but I know that there's something happened underneath there, and I'm going to be curious as to why it's like that.
I'd like to point out the fact that he is pointing out what's wrong with my own home. I'm just throwing that out there. For those who don't know, this is my house. This is my kitchen. invite my buddy over to point out.
But if I didn't know you and I was in here with someone that was buying the house, I would say something happened there. I need to know more about what it was.
You're not going to talk to the real estate agent, right? You're going to talk to the buyer if they're there.
I mean,
to
if the
client.
buyer's there, that's who I talk to.
Because they're your client.
They're my client.
Right. You're going to say, this is something we want to find out more about.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's also incredibly important to me that the agents be happy as well.
Right, of course.
Because they need to be comfortable with me in order to bring me in to talk to their clients about it too.
Yeah.
One thing that no agent wants is some inspector who comes in and points out every single little thing and terrifies these people before they buy a house, because then they're not going to want to buy it, and then the agent winds up showing them house after house after house after house,
right.
and they're terrified.
Right.
It's not my goal to terrify people when they're buying a house.
Right.
I'm trying to make them as comfortable as possible with the house that they're interested in.
Right.
So that they don't have anything that they worry about. I mean, you can fix anything.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of what your threshold for having to deal with time and money on fixing it, but you can fix anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing really to be scared of.
I like that you specifically go back and follow up and make sure.
Generally, the last thing I say to anybody when I finish the home inspection is I tell them, hey, just so you know, on the second page of your report is my cell phone number. I am at your service for as long as you live in this house. Anytime you have questions about anything, give me a call, take a picture of it, send me a text, email me. I can answer questions for you. I'm not going to charge you for my time unless I have to actually come out and do some kind of work, which is rare. And I often don't charge for that either.
But he'll work for lunch.
I will work for lunch. I think whether you use me or somebody else, you should definitely get your house inspected before you buy one. And if you like to, continue to get it inspected every couple of years while you own it, or unless you feel comfortable doing stuff like that yourself. I have contracts with people that I go back every year and take a look at, make sure everything is still fine and make sure they're maintaining things properly. And they're not long inspections, but that you get to check everything out, and they trust you, obviously, or they wouldn't have you continue to come back.
Yeah.
And it makes them feel better. And occasionally you find something that has gone wrong in the previous year that they need to take care of or needs to be addressed. And
And that, you have like all right, every 5 years we want to look at this. Like I have my, hey, it's time for your 5-year checkup type thing. Do you have that? Do you do that?
well, I mean, everything in your house, and I tell people this when I'm doing the inspection, I try to give estimates for what the average life of your water heater is, or what the average life of your air conditioner is, how old it is now, and how old you can roughly expect it to last, or whether or not you should get it replaced, or if there's something wrong with it and should be replaced. Your furnace is going to need to be replaced roughly every 20 years. Your AC is going to need to be replaced roughly every 15 years. If your water heater is showing signs of it coming to the end of its life, you want to replace that probably first, because a broken water heater is a nightmare.
So it's August, hottest month of the year, technically. And we're going into the fall, September, October. I can't wait. Seasons are changing. What do you want to make sure everybody knows? You know, like I said, I know that coming up soon, once I turn on the heat, I got to get my humidity on to make sure that stays balanced. What's coming up?
Well,
we should be aware of?
if you have a contract with an HVAC company, they should be getting about ready to come out and check your furnace or your heat pump for it being ready for winter. Mm-hmm. You want that stuff to be prepared. If you have a humidifier in your house, it's the time of year you want to start. Not now, obviously, because it's still August, but in the next few months, you're going to want to make sure that it's running properly, that the pad has been changed if it's that kind of humidifier, just that it's going to be ready to go for the winter. You probably want to get your hoses winterized coming up shortly. You want to make sure your gutters are all cleaned out.
I'm going through all this.
Yeah.
Make sure I have it. You have checklists. Your
I have a
checklist.
checklist.
The best way to get a hold of him, email address, phone number, it'll all be there in the description. So you'll be able to find him anytime you'd like. But I really thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I'm hanging out with a friend, but thanks for coming. Thanks for doing this. I think this is the type of information that is beneficial for people to hear, and to hear just from you.
Yeah.
You know, hear from the expert, hear from a licensed professional. I can't thank you enough. You know, Brendan White with National Property Inspections. Thanks for taking the time.
It's been great. Always
Thank
good
you.
to see you.
Yes. Please, everybody, if you wouldn't mind, hope you enjoyed everything. Give the video a thumbs up. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn the little bell. Hit the little bell. Turn that on so you have notifications of what's coming up. You will see Brendan again. We are going to be together. Going to maybe go on like a ride-along, whatever you want to call it. Kind of follow him, a day in the life of the home inspector, and see exactly, not just see what he's looking at, but how he does it. We'll get out of this kitchen. We'll go in someone else's. It'll be a lot of fun. Thank you for everything. Have a great day. Bye-bye.